make the comments, you don't have any questions, you know, kimu v'kiblu, you mekayim and mekabel what they're saying, because you know that this is all, that afterwards when they saw that Moshe Rabbeinu heard all this and it was all given, and they had a question, Shmanu, Nasiv and Ishma, they said even what anyone said, all the generations will do, and that's what the Rambam says, that it's Konas HaNeviim. It's Konas HaNeviim. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get over Lacha Moshe Sinai. Moshe Rabbeinu knew about this Konas HaNeviim. And the same thing the Rambam says, Hanukkah is also just like Purim, Konas HaNeviim. The first halachas of the Rambam is the Yitzhaydus, having the Munah and the Rebbeinu Shleilam, to know that there's the Rebbeinu Shleilam, and to know that he is the one who is Mashgiach HaOlam, is Mesameh HaOlam, is Megalgal. And then he says, and the Rambam says, this is the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Aleikecha. That's the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Aleikecha, to know there's Anochi Hashem, there's a Rebbeinu Shalom who's Hoy B'yir, who is the Metzias HaOlam, and the Kecha, who is the one who's Malachoilis, who's the Mashgiach HaOlam, is the Rebbeinu Shalom. Once the Kotzke asked his Talmud Abnezer, "Was glaubst du in der Rebbeinu Shalom? Why do you believe in a God?" He said, "Schaffen the Welt, because he created the world." So weißt du, was der ist? Schaffen the Welt. The glaubst in der Rebbeinu Shalom gesagt, der Neuch Hashem lekach Hashem tzich und zum Tzrayim. The glaubt in der Rebbeinu Shalom gesagt that he's the Rebbeinu Shalom, and that's why you be in the Rebbeinu Shalom. Some of these Rishonim with philosophy and other things comes Chas V'Shalom to clear it. You have to go with Emunah, to have Emunah in the Rebbeinu Shalom. You have Emunah and you know there's a Rebbeinu Shalom. The Heilige Rishon says, V'yayisro es Yod HaGdoila, Yaminu V'Hashem V'Moshe Avdoi. They saw the Yod HaGdoila and they believed in the Rebbeinu Shalom. Frag the Rishon, if you see, why do you have to believe? You see. He says, because a Yid knows you don't do things because you see. You don't do things only because you understand. You don't believe in things only because you understand it. You believe because you believe that the Rebbeinu Shalom V'Yaminu, Emunah. Emunah is what Tzadik and Nasi Yichid, the tachlis of the whole Chabad, and the tachlis of everything is to know that the Iker is to have Emunah and Rebbeinu Shalom, Gevei Visnas, Emunah and Rebbeinu Shalom. The Drosh Zaran says, Anoichel Hashem L'Gacha Shesicha Meretz Mitzrayim. Why does it say I should say Sicha? To know that the mitzvah of believing in Anoichel is believing that there's been Matan Torah, that every word of the Torah was given. There's others who start Chas V'Shalom having questions about the inyanim of believing in every word of Torah. We believe, and anyone who doesn't believe it is a kaifer be'ikr. Every word in the Torah Shv'Ksav, Torah Shv'Apev is kulam nitna l'Moshe M'Sinai. He says that when we believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom, Anoich Hashem L'Gacha Shesich Me'etzrayim Anas Kavnes L'Kimel Harazeh, that He gave us the Torah, and that's the Ikr Emunah. The Emunah for Nagid is a Gleiben Torah. A Memela Megleiben Torah, Gleiben Astor HaShefer. If the Rebbeinu Shalom says B'Rosh Yisbarach, so we believe that the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Torah said that He created the world. We believe in the creation of the world. So I just want to end that it's a big schus. All those are starting now to learn the Rambam. The Rebbeinu Shalom should begin the Rambam and end the Rambam and learn all the halachas and know. And if you're learning the Sefer Mitzvahs, so you're learning for 1 year or 3 years, wherever you're going to learn to have the ideas of Rambam. But also remember that you don't pass him from the Rambam. Remember that with the Rambam, that Melena Gemara, with the Rambam, that Melena Shulchan, with the Rambam, that Hamarov to Freg Hashayla, and you're passing on your own. You have to know that you learn that the tachlis is to know what it's all about, to know the Torah Shabbat. Of the face Torah Shabbat, that we listen to game Freg Hashayla, the Freg Hashulchan, the Freg Halacha, and to learn and to advance to the help and the Rebbe Moshe B'Zoychas, to be Messiah the Rambam. Like Rambam says that the whole tachlis of everything is the Havis Mashiach, that the whole world to come to the Gilu of Mashiach, the Herib Yemenu, should all be Zoycha to be as a Mashiach, and through the limud HaTorah, through the limud of Mishnah Torah and Torah, the Torah Sheksav, Torah Shvapeh, which is Zoycha to see Takir the Ula of Herib Yemenu. Amen.
And thank you very much for the inspiring words. And in fact, it's very interesting to note that based upon the idea that Torah Shebiksav represents the notion where the Jews were willing, without any force, to accept the Torah as opposed to Torah Rebbe only by force, it explains a very interesting vote of the Alter Rebbe that explains when he was in Mezrich. So every vote or every limud that the Mezrich Maggid used to teach them were for them as a Mishnah Psucho. However, every anhogo that they were witnessing or were exposed in Mezrich, it's for them a b'chinas Torah shebiksav. And which also ties into what the Rebbe explains, that generally there is a difference between the mitzvah sasei in Torah shoftim v'shoitrim titen lecho. However, in our prayer, we are asking Hoshiva Shofteinu. The word Shoitreinu is being omitted, and instead we're saying Yoyatzeinu. And the Rebbe explains that the idea of a Yoyetz, as opposed to a Shoiter that he's doing by force, Yoyetz, on the contrary, in the initiative of the person, he goes on his own. And therefore, throughout the history of Hasidus, where the iskashus of Hasidim to the Rabbeim was a iskashus which based on the nature of hayoyetz, where the on their own, like kimbu vekiblu alayhu, without any outside force. Now, towards the end of the Rambam, there is the terms dvorim hastumim. There is a story that is known that one of the Hasidim of our Rebbe, they came over to him and they said, it is known that the world is staying, is based upon 36 tzaddikim nistorim, hidden tzaddikim. So we would really appreciate if you will be able to show us one. And the Rebbe answered them, you're looking at one. Since you are not Nistor, everybody knows about you, you're very famous. And his answer was, Ochen weiss zu mein Zitkus, that will be owed to my righteousness, if all there is to it is only the part that is known to you. Baruch Hashem, we are privileged over here to have the maskil of the Rebbe, as was mentioned before, that not only lo yomish mitoich oihel, but even before the Nesius, there was yachas, there was shaychus, and true that there is many dvorim mastumim, but definitely the oilom will be urged to known, and in fact, in many occasions, when the Rebbe was sharing to the oilom stories about the Frierdiker Rebbe, that later became known, he says, he knew when he's sharing the story with me, sooner or later, that I won't be able to abstain and to hold myself, and I will share it with the oilom. And Esakil Yofo, also Hashem Be'itoy, and therefore it is obvious, every, as we mentioned before, every story, every Anhogotoigo, definitely there is many, not only Moifsim Be'Pashtes, but also in Yonim Chashuvim that Rabbi Groner have witnessed throughout the years, and we have over here a privilege to have him and have the oinig